Have you felt that you're having to go at the speed of your season of life? Have you felt that maybe it is a detriment to your business growth? You feel like you're falling behind, other people are getting ahead? The reality is, I think going slow isn't to your disadvantage. It's actually the opposite. It's to your advantage. I think fundamentally the idea of going as fast as you can, building as big as you can, and pushing as hard as you can is flawed. And I'm fascinated by business owners who say, yeah, at the beginning, you need to hustle and grind and push and push and push and push and push. And then once you're successful, you can slow down and you can reward yourself with a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more free time. When they hear how few hours it takes to run my $1 million business, they say, oh, good for you, Graham. I'm sure that's your reward now. But in the early days, you had to hustle and grind and go fast. And I'm always shocked that they assume that. Like, why do we assume we have to hustle? I've never hustled. I've never gone fast. I've always gone slow. When I started my business, I was a brand new father and husband and homeowner, and I was planning a church, which means I was giving 10 to 20 hours a week as a volunteer. I didn't have a whole lot of time, and I certainly wasn't afforded the luxury, air quotes, of just working around the clock and building things quickly. I had to go at the speed of my season of life. Short-term thinking has long-term consequences. And when you're running hard and fast, you're thinking short-term. Why else would you run hard and fast? The only reason you run hard and fast is because you're afraid of missing out. You feel like there's this short or limited window of time. So you need to go fast and make as much money or make as much progress as you can in this short term. That's the only reason why you run fast. Right? Think about a race, for example. Like if you're an actual runner, track and field. The only reason you're going to run fast in the 100-meter dash is because it's a short race. Like there is a short window of time to win it. So you got to go fast. You're never going to run that fast and hard if you're in a marathon where you're running 26.2 miles. Well, because there's way more time. So you're going to optimize very differently. You're going to run at a very different pace than you would for a 100-meter dash. So you got to know what kind of race you're in. And the problem is running hard and fast is short-term thinking. It's optimizing for the short term. You're trying to get quick money or quick results. And the problem is you might actually get what you want. You might actually get quick money and quick results. And that feels good in the short term. And you feel like, well, aren't I doing the right thing? The problem is it has long-term consequences. You will pay for it in the long term. So you're gonna burn out. You're gonna burn your audience out. You're gonna use your email list as a slot machine. You're just gonna pull the lever and flash sale, flash sale, flash sale, and it works until it doesn't. And you've burned them out. You've burned yourself out. You've lost trust, and then your business falls apart. But the opposite is true. When you optimize for the long term, you reap the rewards in the long term. You may not reap as much in the short term, but you will reap in the long term. So the great thing here is that if you want to win and you're willing to think long term, you really will win bigger and disproportionately than anybody else. I want to leave you with this question because I think this is a great, go think about this. In a world that says you're running out of time, you got to go now. You're missing out on your chance. This is it. This is your moment in the sun. It'll never be like this again. Someone else is going to grab what's yours if you don't grab it. In a world that screams all those things, I call BS on all of that. And I say, none of that's true. And even if it were true, it's not helpful. Let me give you a better question that will, I think, give you 100% clarity on what you need to do next in your business. Here's the question. Are you ready? What would you do if you weren't running out of time? What would you do if you weren't running out of time? However you want to answer that. Would you run your business? Would you run a different business? What would you do within your business? Would you be doing the things you're doing today in your business if you weren't running out of time? If I were able to convince you that, friend, you have plenty of time, right? I think there's a Rolling Stones song, Time is on your side. Friend, time is on your side. You've got tons of time ahead of you. If you weren't running out of time, I know everyone says, if you were going to die tomorrow, what would you do? Yeah, flip it though. If you're not dying for another 50, 60 years, and you've got plenty of time to grow this thing, what would you do differently? Or would you do what you're doing, how you're doing it? What would you do if you weren't running out of time? The answers to that question are what you need to be doing. It's what you need to be focusing on. It's what you need to be going all in on. Your subconscious wants to tell you what you really want to do, what you intuitively know is best for you and best for your students, best for your customers, best for your family, best for your legacy. The problem is this fake pressure of you're running out of time, you got to do it now, is clouding your judgment. What would you do if you weren't running out of time? If you're watching on YouTube, comment below. First thought. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, pause this and stop and answer that question. What would you do if you weren't running out of time? Because the good news is you aren't. You have all the time you could ever need. Time is on your side. Slow down. Build for the long term. Optimize for the long term. Build a business that you'll never burn out from, never want to exit, never get handcuffed to the hamster wheel. And watch your success take you to the next level. Hope you enjoyed this episode. As always, I appreciate your time, and I'll see you next week.